Today I'm talking about why the INFJ is a walking paradox, and I'm not going to talk about those typical things we know that like the INFJ is very reserved, but at the same time when they feel at ease with others they can open up, or typical things like the INFJ is very emotionally intelligent, they understand others so well, they're all about well-being and understanding what is important, but they neglect themselves. Like those things you sort of read everywhere and they become sort of like this go-to thing, but still most of us INFJs still question ourselves and we ask ourselves, why are we this walking paradox? It's not even so much that others just look at you and say, oh, you're just like this paradox, I don't understand. It is questions that we ask ourselves because let's admit it, most people really care about themselves, and this is not something that, is to be said as like a bad quality for other people, and it doesn't happen to INFJs. We just all have to recognize that we all go through life with our own chips on our shoulders. We see everything through our own lens, and this whole thing of being a paradox is something that we carry with ourselves. It's the reason why so many INFJ topics exist on the internet, because those are questions we just can't seem to find the answer to. And today I want to talk about what this actually means to us. How are we going to handle this? How do we get a grip on this so it isn't this always consuming feeling that goes through our mind? Before we go deeper into this, remember to download the 5 Pillars to an INFJ Epic Life poster if you haven't done this so far. It's for free, the link is in the description, so you can start applying those 5 pillars starting today and really change your life from the foundation up. And if you say, I really want to go deeper into this, I see the benefits that this channel has brought me, you see all the comments about people who are already in bootcamp, join us. The next live round starts in January, so sign up for the waiting list so you get access and you are aware when the early bird price goes out. So, new year, new you. Let's make it happen. Join the waiting list and be part of this amazing community. When I first found out that I was an INFJ, it wasn't that I learned it in college or that it was something that happened by accident. And I know this happens to some of us, particularly the people in the States that, you get this test in college or you hear about this. This is not something that is very foreign to you, but most people actually find what INFJ is all about and the MBTI and all of that through personal research, because we get to a place where we say, I don't understand myself. I have no idea how to put this into any kind of perspective. I understand that certain things trigger me, and I understand that these things aren't the same things that trigger others. I suffer from this. And on top of that, I feel misunderstood. I feel different. And at the same time, I understand others so well. So if I understand others so well, why don't they understand me? Like, what's really going on? And what I have found, and that is the reason, in my opinion, why from all the MBTI types, INFJ is the one that is most, prominent, that you see most of the time. It's not because most people are actually INFJs and it just looks this way. It's because MBTI by itself is actually from an INFJ's perspective. Myers and Briggs, Young, all of that language that they use is pretty much tailored to an INFJ, and that's why so many INFJs are actually attracted to it. So what does that have to do with being a paradox? Well, once we understand that there is actually a language, that there is this toolbox that we can use in order to make sense of it, guess what? It doesn't seem like such a paradox anymore. Yes, at first you learn those things that sound superficial, like, yes, we're walking paradoxes in a way of, we understand others, but we want to keep our distance. We can be very strong when something is really important to us. Most of the time we are relaxed. But all of those things you read, they just give you this feeling of, yes, I am this way. But they're not giving you an understanding of why you are this way, how you can see yourself differently, and if in fact this is a paradox or it's just a complex human being. And the more you get into this field, you recognize, no, this is actually a language, this is a toolbox that makes me understand myself. Like I always say, MBTI, being an INFJ, this isn't like this scientific hard thing. It is a soft science in many ways. And people who ask themselves, well, this isn't real, this is just some fairy tale thing. Well, in the end, it doesn't really matter what you believe. The question is, has it helped you? It has helped me tremendously. It has helped so many millions of people. So that's the only thing that matters to me. For me, that was a system, that was a toolbox, or it is a toolbox, and it allowed me to see myself from a perspective, from a language that made me understand there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. I'm not somebody who's weird. I'm not somebody who just has like this thing of, okay, I'm almost like insane insane or, there's something wrong with me. No, it all makes sense. And so this notion of being a paradox suddenly just evaporated. And, from time to time I see comments where people say, no, I still feel like I'm completely misunderstood. And I feel like I'm alone in this world, no matter what, my whole message is all about and the community around us, which is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Let's look at it from that perspective. But I completely understand where this is coming from, this whole thing of, I am a paradox, I am different. I can't really put it into a scheme because it is hard to get to this place. It really takes some time for you to actually change your perspective and to see it as just, that's just what we can do. I mean, it's the same thing like saying, yes, I'm not a fish, I'm also not a dolphin, but I can still swim. Just because you can do different things doesn't mean that they're necessarily things that have to be a paradox. Because if you think about it, really, how often have people really told you, oh, you're a paradox? People who tell you this at a place and time where you believe this about yourself. This has been my overall experience. So let me explain this because I know this might, make you say, no, it was that way for me. But think about it. What was it? People say, oh, you seem like such a laid back person, or you seem like somebody that allows other people to take advantage of you, and then suddenly you burst out. This is for example, one of those typical things. And we're going to have a separate video after this one about why the INFJ continuously gets tested. And we're going to look into this in detail. But the main point is when you're still at that phase where you haven't integrated all of your parts in your mind, and I'm not that naive to think that you ever really reach that place, but I can see a big difference in, not having accepted myself. There are parts of me that I didn't allow to come forward because then I thought people are really going to think I'm, out there crazy, insane, whatever it might be. I was so afraid of that of course those paradoxes also were visible to others because I was acting from a place of, I'm pretending something and then in reality I'm somebody else. And I didn't know that exactly. I didn't know that this was actually something that I could change. But I mean, think about it. How often is it that we actually feel, oh, I'm an observer? Also something you typically read about INFJs. This is something that happens when you haven't really taken all the necessary steps for you to feel completely integrated, because then you don't surround yourself with people that, force you to just be an observer. You actually get to a place where you start creating so much. You start focusing on your life more and more. So this observer role isn't that present anymore. But when you're in this default state that we are all in, if we're not actively working towards this complete integration, then you automatically are looking at the world as, the world is happening out there. I'm here, everything's happening behind, let's say, this glass window. And just from time to time, I seem to find a person who's here with me, who's also behind this window. They see that this is fake. And that's when we, get obsessed over this person, think we found this soul connection, this one person that really, really gets me. When in reality, it's not meant to be this way. And if we get to a place where we don't feel like life is happening outside of us, where we actually start creating life over here, we don't really get to a place where we're looking for this one person who understands us. And once you're here, you actually start acting out everything that you are. And it comes out in such a conviction, in such a, of course I'm this way. Of course I'm very strong. Of course I'm actually really tough. Yes, I can feel myself into other people. I have empathy for them. But when it comes down to it, I can be really stone cold. I can do what has to be done because, in the end, it's all about the way I'm set up. And, all of those things play together and they're a continuous thing and there is no paradox in it. It's just a complex being and I embody all of it. I'm not ashamed of it anymore. I'm not hiding certain parts because of what the reaction to that might be. And you'll see that now my friends have completely gotten used to my new being, but in that transitional phase, it was that they said, yeah, you are different. There is really something that, makes you different than most people that we meet, but that's not what they used used to say before. Before, that was the moment when I actually made them cry because they thought I was a certain way and then I was somebody else. That was the time when I wasn't willing to combine any kind of friendships in the fear of that one friend finding out that I'm different with that other one. There's so many fears that come with being an INFJ because of the complexity, because of the fact that we actually understand others so well. Because then you really act out from a place of, I will lose their respect, and what then? But the interesting part, and what I want you to take out of this video, is you can have those different phases, but once you've committed to being yourself, to being all of this, the people around you get so used to who you are that they aren't first off taken back by some new thing that you kept hidden forever. Like, that's definitely going to happen in the meantime. And some people are going to distance themselves from you. Others are going to see you for the first time, like all of these things. But you get to a place where you're so comfortable with all of those aspects. You know how I said, yes, I'm a human being. I walk on earth, but I can still swim. And it's similarly with all of those aspects. And now I don't see that there's any paradox in being an INFJ. This walking paradox thing comes from a place of, okay, I haven't allowed myself to completely be with all of those aspects and to allow myself to include all of these different characteristics which together make sense. They don't make sense one by one. They don't make sense, I'm like this way when I'm with this one person and I'm this way when I'm another person, and therefore person A thinks I'm a certain way and person B thinks I'm a certain way. And that's the paradox, because once that person A sees, oh, I can also act the way I'm acting with person B, then it's like, oh, this huge paradox. That doesn't have to be the case. That only is the case if we keep so much hidden. And it really comes from a place of shame. It comes from a place of, fear of abandonment. And I'm here to tell you, it's definitely worth the fight. Make it a point. Allow yourself to be as much yourself as you can, because it's like a freedom. It really is as if once and for all, you say to yourself, yes, I used to believe life was happening outside, outside that glass window. Now I know it's happening here, and I accept who I am with all of those aspects that I embody, and I'm going to make it an amazing life. I'm going to make it this INFJ epic life I always knew I wanted to feel. You can do this. It's about taking steps. It's about allowing yourself to be yourself. And it's also about saying, I'm fighting the fight. I'm not going to accept that this is my destiny and I just have to be this outcast and I have to be misunderstood and I have to be alone, or I pretend I'm somebody I'm not, or I omit certain parts of myself. You deserve it all and you can have it all. But it all starts from a place of choosing yourself, knowing there's no paradox about it. It's all one complete thing and you can live out all of it. And remember, if you feel like you don't know where to start, check out the 5 pillars. They look like, oh, they're so simple steps. And why is that so important for us as INFJs? But once you start the process, you actually see how your energy increases here, right? It's not out there. It's not like this, oh, the grass is greener over there, but you actually start watering your own. And as an INFJ, it isn't those things you might expect from, what you hear in, let's say, mainstream media. It is possible. It's an amazing process. I love what I've done with my life and what I continue to do. And I see all of you, and I see the people in boot camp and the people I work with, and I see the effects it all has. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope you join as well. Again, our next boot camp round starts in January. You can join the waiting list. The link is in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, watch the video Why the INFJ Gets Away with More Than Others.